Jacob adjusted his jacket nervously as he and his wife, Emily, stepped into the grand ballroom. The chandeliers sparkled above, and waiters in white gloves floated across the room with trays of champagne. It was a kind of event Emily's family thrived in. Exclusive, expensive, and intimidating. Jacob had always felt out of place in these settings. He wasn't born into wealth. He hadn't gone to Ivy League schools like most of the people milling about tonight. He had taken a different path, one that involved dropping out of college to build his own business from scratch. Emily squeezed his hand gently. "You'll be fine," she whispered. But the moment her parents spotted them, Jacob felt the shift in the air. Her father, Charles, tall and stern, offered a stiff handshake. Her mother, Margaret, gave him the kind of smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Well, look who's here," Charles said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Our daughter's husband, the Dropout." A few people nearby turned their heads. The word Dropout hung in the air like a stain. Jacob's chest tightened, but he kept his composure. "Good evening," he said calmly. Margaret leaned close at Emily, but loud enough for Jacob to hear. "I still don't understand how someone like him belongs in a place like this." Emily's cheeks flushed. "Mom, stop," she whispered harshly. But the whispers spread. A few relatives murmured to one another, casting sideways glances at Jacob as if he were some uninvited guest. Jacob excused himself politely and walked toward the balcony, his hands shoved deep in his pockets. The cool night air was a relief compared to the suffocating judgment inside. He thought about the sacrifices he had made, the sleepless nights, the failures, the years of hard work building his small construction company from nothing. None of that seemed to matter to them. All they saw was a dropout. Moments later, Emily joined him. "I'm so sorry," she said softly. Jacob shook his head. "They don't think I belong here. Maybe they're right." Emily grabbed his hand firmly. "No, you belong with me. And if this is the price of loving you, then so be it. I'd rather stand by your side than stand with anyone else in that room." Her words steadied him. When they returned inside, Charles made another cutting remark. "Jacob, maybe you should stick to places you're more comfortable. This isn't really your crowd." This time, Jacob didn't shrink back. He straightened his shoulders and met Charles's gaze. "You're right," Jacob said evenly. "This isn't my world. I didn't inherit wealth, and I didn't finish college. But I built my own business from the ground up. I know what it's like to fail and to get back up again. I know what it means to work for everything I have. So no, maybe I don't fit in here, but that doesn't mean I don't belong." The room fell silent. Even the waiters seemed to pause. Charles blinked, clearly taken aback. Margaret opened her mouth, then closed it again. Emily slipped her arm through Jacob's, her eyes full of pride. Someone in the back began to clap. Slowly, a few others joined, not because they were mocking him, but because they recognized the strength in his words. Charles turned away, embarrassed, but Jacob no longer cared. For the first time that night, he felt taller than the chandeliers above. Later, as they left the party, Emily whispered, "You were incredible." Jacob smiled faintly. "I didn't need to prove anything to them. I just needed to remind myself." They walked into the cool night together, hand in hand. And Jacob realized that belonging wasn't about fitting into someone else's world. It was about standing strong in your own and finding the people who stood beside you no matter what. Emily had chosen him. That was all the belonging he needed.